U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is no stranger to power. But despite being next in line for the presidency, she's still working to connect with the American people just days before election. I'm Jamela Alindogan, and in this episode of Insight Weekly, we'll talk about her rise as she stands on the brink of a landmark victory.
We are all here because we are fighting for a democracy and for the right of people.
Vice President Kamala Harris is no stranger to power. Yet, with just weeks before Election Day, she's working tirelessly to connect with the American public and make her case for the presidency. In 2021, Kamala Harris made history as the first woman, Black American, and South Asian American to be sworn in as vice president. Born in 1964 to a Jamaican father and an Indian mother, Harris often speaks about how her parents' immigrant journeys in the U.S. shaped her early life and instilled in her a commitment to justice.
Fighting for the best of who we are.
Harris began her legal career in 1990, prosecuting child sexual assault cases, a work she describes as foundational for her future in public service. In 2004, she became San Francisco's district attorney, breaking new ground by officiating the city's first same-sex marriage. Elected as California's Attorney General in 2010, she led the nation's largest state justice department, cementing her role as a trailblazer. In 2022, Harris made a historic visit to the Philippines, traveling to Palawan to meet with residents and Coast Guard officials. Her visit, as the highest-ranking U.S. official to step foot in the region, sent a strong message of the U.S.'s commitment to the Philippines and firm support for South China Sea defense. Her connection to the Philippines extended further. Her husband, Douglas Emhoff, represented the U.S. at President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s inauguration, carrying a personal message from President Biden and pledging continued support to combat COVID-19. When President Joe Biden stepped aside in the presidential race, Harris swiftly accepted his endorsement and declared her candidacy.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
As she secured the Democratic nomination, her promises echoed Biden's core policies, upholding democratic values and the rule of law, restoring abortion rights, urgently addressing climate change, and pushing tax reforms that favor the middle class. The first few months of her campaign were marked by fierce debates, where Harris held her ground. Yet, as the economy emerged as a top concern, she began pivoting her message, framing Trump as a grave threat to democracy and sharpening the ideological divide. She intensified her tone, calling Trump a fascist and urging voters to turn the page on a divisive era in American politics.
Donald Trump is even more unstable and more unhinged, and now he wants unchecked power. And this time, there will be no one there to stop him.
In recent months, Harris has focused on reaching undecided voters and moderate Republicans, though she has often sidestepped specific policy details on border security, healthcare, and the Gaza conflict. Her rhetoric, however, has remained strong, casting Trump as an existential threat to democracy.
The Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America. Never again.
If elected, Harris faces an agenda packed with domestic and international challenges. From border security and the Ukraine crisis to tensions over Taiwan, Israel, and Gaza. And in Southeast Asia, another question looms: how Harris will navigate complex alliances, building closer ties with regional partners while managing the delicate balance with China.
Do we believe in freedom?
With a tight race and the world watching, Kamala Harris stands poised to make history once again, carrying the weight of a deeply divided America and a fractured world on her shoulders.
And when we fight, we win!
If she wins, Harris will become the first female president in U.S. history, But she will be also facing the enormous task of uniting a deeply polarized society. I'm Alindogan, and this is Inside Weekly.